Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful God, I bear witness that there is but one God whose proper name is Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his servant and messenger. We're forever thankful to Allah for his intervention in our affairs by coming to us in the divine person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom holy praise is due forever. We're thankful to him for raising from among us a divine messenger whom we see as the Messiah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we're thankful to them both for giving us an extension of themselves. And our divine reminder and warner, our champion of truth, freedom, justice, and equality, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. As in those three great names, brothers and sisters, I'd like to greet you in the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
How's everyone?
Fine, sir.
All praises are due to Allah. Let us give our assistant ministers a round of applause. We thank Allah for their word, and we thank Allah for their spirit, and we pray that their spirit and their word inspires you and I to make a change in our lives for the better. I am Brother Henry Muhammad. I am a student minister under the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, his representative here in Brooklyn, New York, striving to hold up the weight on his behalf for God and our people. Welcome to Muhammad Mosque 7C. We're glad to have you. Our subject today is how strong is our foundation? Can we survive?
Come on, come on.
This is a question that was asked by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad at a time before he departed from the Nation of Islam. And many at that time didn't understand exactly why he put that question out there, but it's fitting for now as well. It was after 40 years of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaching in the absence of his teacher, Master Fard Muhammad, and carrying the message and the weight of building a nation in the wilderness of North America. After the 40 years was up, then he departed. They say that the number 40 is a number of maturity. And most prophets, if you study them, receive the revelation and get their prophethood at the age of 40. We know in terms of dealing when we're getting 40 years old in our life, they say life don't begin until you're 40. So these numbers are very significant. The whole universe is built off of mathematics. And so when we look at numbers, we can't say, well, you know, 6 is a bad luck number or 13 is a bad luck number. All the numbers belong to the Creator. So none of them are bad luck numbers. It's only a devil who puts into our mind which number is good and which number is bad. Now, I ain't going into the mindset of those of us who play numbers. We ain't trying to rock no bolita or no three-way combo up here. Y'all all right? We're dealing with numbers as it pertains to God and the universe. And so in coming up with this title of the subject matter, there's so many reasons why, and I can't go into them all, but first and foremost, the spiritual side of it all. We have to know as a people, whether you recognize yourself to be a part of the Nation of Islam or not, you already are. God came and claimed you a long time ago, and if you didn't know about it, that don't mean anything. You don't know everything. I know you down, but you don't know everything. Neither do I. Knowledge is infinite. We will never know it all. So the best thing to do is try to learn as we go along, because life is school, but keep our ears and our eyes open. And pray that God gives us the discernment, the spirit of discernment, so that we can be able to discern between truth and falsehood when it's coming through people who are disguising themselves in the mask of truth or as an angel of light, but underneath is really a slippery tongue of a devil. The title itself covers a whole spectrum of things. You know, we're at a time right now where our people are concerned about Trump coming into office and, you know, what's going to be the plight of black people. You have a lot of black people that are saying, well, you know, there is no black leadership. You know, we need to do this, we need to do that, but we don't have no leadership that's speaking out. And really, the scripture speaks into all of that. All of that, brother. Bible and Holy Quran. If you're here for your first or second time, know of a surety, when you hear Nation of Islam, you can't think Muslim as it pertains to 1400 years ago, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, the whole garb and everything, and praying all the time and counting dicker beads. And we're not against that, but this is a new Islam.
Teach. All right now.
That had an expiration date to it. And many people don't want to accept it, and that's why they're still stuck moonwalking, following behind the East. When it's written in the Quran and in the Bible that the sun will rise in the west in the latter days. In the Bible, Jesus describes the Son of Man coming out of the east unto the west. In the Quran, it says that the sun, the light of Islam, will rise in the west in the latter days. What latter days are we talking about? So these are questions that we have to throw and put out there, because, you know, we have to almost handcuff you with truth before we can even give you a higher degree of knowledge. Because the devil and Satan and his devils have gone before God comes. God gave the devil a 6,000-year head start. And this is why Jesus says in the Bible, all that came before me were thieves and robbers.
That's right.
But the devil even comes in between that and make you think that that Jesus of 2,000 years ago was the one that came after all the thieves and robbers. No, he wasn't. Because if he was, we would have never went through slavery, brothers and sisters. God don't change his mind. You're going to bring up a Jesus 2,000 years ago, save the world, die for their sins, and then lay back down and let us go through hell? That's why the average young brother and sister out there on the street ain't trying to hear that. That don't make no sense. Because they're asking the question, what the hell did I do to have to deserve what I'm going through? Don't tell me about no God. To hell with God. I don't believe in no God.
That's what they say.
And we get so caught up in our religiosity, our hypocrisy. Ah, he's a devil. He said, the hell with God. I don't believe in God. That's a platform to teach. Anytime you find somebody, all praises due to Allah, that says there is no God, I don't believe in God, then that's a challenge to you where your faith and your knowledge is concerned, to say, all right, let me work on this one. Not that I'm trying to get you to believe like I believe, but to understand, oh yeah, there is a God. Because most that say that is out of ignorance, pain, dissatisfaction, and frustration. And when we come from that level, that's emotion, and emotion clouds our thinking. So we're not thinking from a reasonable level. We're already frustrated. We're already disappointed. We're already dissatisfied. So it's like, man, look, don't come over here with that God stuff. With all due respect, go that way. Is that right? Have we not heard that before, brothers? Sisters? I know I was one of those dudes. Yo, I'm telling you, bro, don't come over here with that Jesus save stuff. Not right now. Not right now. But brother, I'm trying to tell you right now. And you know what that means, right? I'm about to put some pain on you because I'm so upset with myself. And so dissatisfied with myself. I ain't gonna beat up myself, but I will. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, look. But that's what we got to deal with. But I'm saying all that to say, these kind of attitudes, this kind of mindset, in the scripture, in the book of Ezekiel, in the 37th chapter, it talks about the Son of Man being laid down in a valley of dry bones. And God asks the Son of Man, can these bones live? And he says, God, Lord, you know. And then he says that the Son of Man is all around the bones, everywhere they are. And God is telling him to prophesy to the bones. And so now, if we know we're talking about bones, who's going to talk to a bone? Really? I mean, really. Come on now. For my chicken eaters. Come on. When you finish that piece of chicken, you don't sit up there and say, man, this chicken was so good. Look, I'm just going to talk to this bone right now and pray that my wife can make this chicken again like this next week, because I love this chicken. Maybe these bones will come together. So evidently, the bone is a metaphor. But you find bones inside of people. Is that right?
That's right.
So that means that Jesus or the Son of Man was sat down in the valley of people. But it's saying dry bone.
Come on, that's what it says.
And you know what it looks like when you see a dry bone. There ain't no life in that bone. Here's these people that are dry bones, and God puts them in the valley of dry bones. So that doesn't mean God's put them in the valley of physically dead people. They're dead from the neck up. And how do you know they're dead? Because their talk in the book of Ezekiel in the 37th chapter is, our hope is lost. Our bones are dry.
Right.
We are cut off from our part.
Right.
We ain't got no leadership.
Yeah.
Black people can't come together.
That's how we do.
It's all about Africa. We should be helping Africa. We cut off from our part. Don't that sound familiar?
Yes, sir.
But you know why we don't identify that talking about us in a futuristic sense? Because of the reverend. Because of the pastor. Because of the minister. Because of the imam. Got everybody looking backwards. And no one looking forward. First of all, if the book of Ezekiel, which is the Old Testament, is talking about the Son of Man, and the book of Isaiah mentions the Son of Man, and you have some of us that will say from the Christian perspective, well, you know, when Jesus came, he done away with the Old Testament. The Old Testament bears witness to Jesus, who is the Son of Man.
Right. Why would he do that?
And then he testifies that there's one coming, not himself. He says the Son of Man will come from the east unto the west in the latter days. All of these subjects, all of these prophets in these chapters in the Bible and the Quran are pointing to a time of the latter days when the Son of Man will come.
Right, right.
Well, the latter days is dealing and implying a certain criteria of time. We got this day, and then we got a later day. Is that right?
Right.
But it's all within a time frame.
Right.
So to try to bring it up close to home, we have to understand, brothers and sisters, when we're looking in the scriptures of the Quran and the scriptures of the Bible, these books are not separate from one another.
Right.
This is all coming from one big scripture that comes from one big God.
Come on.
All right now. That's good.
And it's covering a cycle of time, generally of 6,000 years, but also speaks into times before that and thousands of years ahead. But mostly dealing with the 6,000 year period from the time of the making of Adam, the rising of Abraham, all the way to Muhammad and Jesus.
Come on.
So when we start talking about latter day, we have to take into consideration that when the devil manifested himself, and devilishment is rebellion to God. When the devil manifested himself through Adam, in Adam's rebellion by eating from the forbidden tree, God gave him an expiration date for his rebellion. Not just for him as an individual, but for that spirit of rebellion and all who will follow that rebellion. He says, 6 days you will do all your work.
Right.
On the 7th day you will rest, meaning that you will die. And then the scripture says later on, a day with the Lord is as 1,000 years. So now let's go back to latter day.
Right.
See, it's in the time frame of that 6,000 year period.
Come on.
Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
Now, for those of you who already know this, repetition is the mother of learning.
Come on.
Is that right? For those that don't know, it's something to think about and study on later on down the line. You ain't got to believe what Brother Henry's saying.
Come on.
But I'm trying to lay a base for the subject matter of how strong is our foundation. Can we survive? Because that 6,000 year period started with Abraham.
Right.
It could not have started with Adam because Adam was not a prophet. Who was he there to prophesy to? He was made a God.
Come on.
That's true.
Give him dominion.
Right.
Give him power.
Right.
Give him rulership.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Make him to multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it. Make him have power over every creeping thing that crawleth on the face of the earth. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So God, when he made Adam, he gave him characteristics of a God.
Teach that.
And so since he gave him characteristics of a God, he's allowing him to rule like a God.
Very good.
So that white man has been ruling because God has allowed him to rule.
Right.
He's the one that's been searching all through the earth. He's the one that's been in the depths of the sea, in the skies. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
You don't find a black man doing that. Our ancestors ain't got to search all that. We did that already.
Right.
The white man's a newcomer on the planet. And whenever you move somewhere that's new, a new apartment, new house, you go and search every room. Ooh, look what's here. Ooh, look what's there. No, brothers and sisters, everywhere that white man went, he found us.
Come on.
They don't teach us this in school. They'll subtly mention, when they talk about the explorers, and they talk about them going to different continents, and they'll say the natives that were there, but they don't let you know what the natives look like. They don't let you know that the natives had a nose like yours, lips like yours, eyes like yours, hair like yours, features like yours. They were your relatives. But they never let you know that these were dark people. Why? Because the explorers killed them.
That's right.
And if you was to know that they were your people and these explorers came and killed them, you want to know, well, why did they have to kill them?
Right.
And at the same time, since the white man who's coming in birth is from Adam, he's being made a ruler, then to be a ruler, you got to knock out all competition. And God, knowing their nature of wickedness, still had mercy on them. For the past 6,000 years, he kept sending them prophets from himself to give them guidance on how to rule in a righteous way. And they killed the prophets. Brothers and sisters, these prophets and whatnot that we've never met, that we read about in the Bible and the Quran and act like we worship them more than we worship our mother who's in our face.
Right.
They wasn't sent to black people.
Come on, teach us. Teach us.
There it is.
Teach us.
Not that black people didn't need a message or need a revelation. They were sent to the wicked.
To the wicked.
Come on. Come on.
Your and my nature is not wickedness.
Right.
The wrong that we do is based off of circumstances and conditions and a lack of knowledge.
Right.
If we had the right knowledge and we was under the right circumstance and under the right conditions, we wouldn't do half of the stuff we do. But many of us don't know that. All praises due to Allah. Many of us don't know that. So revelation has to come to us as well. But I'm saying that to say this 6,000 year period, Abraham, his work and his life of his work lasted for 2,000 years. Then came Moses, his work and the life of his work lasted for 2,000 years. Then came Jesus, his work and the life of his work lasted for 2,000 years. That's 6,000 years. And in between the time of Jesus coming and going, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, comes with the last revelation. It doesn't mean it's the last message for the world, but it was the last revelation under the cycle of the 6,000 year period of the devil's rulership.
Come on. Come on.
After devil goes comes God. And once God comes on the scene, everything of evil, all the way down to lying, gets knocked out the box. I mean, it's removed from the people, and there's no abracadabra where that is concerned. There's no osmosis. There's a time period in which that has to take place, and all of that is written in the Bible and the Quran.
Come on.
And if it wasn't for God coming and making himself known through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and that man getting that message to be able to give us the wisdom of the Bible and the wisdom of the Quran by teaching us who we are, who is God, and then pointing out the devil and letting us know the mind of the devil and how the devil came into being and how the thought came into his mind to do wickedness, then we would not have no chance. Now we want to deal with how strong is your foundation? Can we survive? Because it's this kind of knowledge that's going to help us to survive. But the knowledge alone won't do it. We have to have faith in that which we say we believe. And mere belief accounts for nothing unless carried into practice. And belief, as we know, is the absence of knowledge. So it just can't be belief alone. That's a start. But then we got to study to make sure we know what we believe.
Come on.
Right.
And then act on it so that we can be more faithful in that which we believe because we tried and tested it.
Come on.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So, as the bones are in the valley, crying out with no hope, and they don't have anything to hold on to. See, you know, in the black community, everybody's searching for somebody, some knowledge or someone with knowledge that they can hold on to.
Exactly. Come on, that's right.
To get their identity so that they can stand up on something, because inside they're losing a lot of faith and a lot of hope.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And what you're seeing when you're looking at your brothers and sisters is just a shell. Inside they scared as hell.
That's right.
Talk to us.
Because everything they thought that they could count on, that last idol has been knocked down.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Just as it was with Abraham when he knocked down all the idols, he left one standing.
Yes, he did.
Since everybody liked to worship idols, he said, I'm going to leave that one standing. When they wake up in the morning, let's see what they're going to say.
Come on now.
Because the people at that time had an idol for every day of the year.
Think about it.
And Abraham, being raised by God, was tired of them worshiping these idols. He knocked them down. And left one standing. And then waited when everybody gathered around all upset, and he was in the crowd with them. Tapping his foot, like, look at him. Who did this? Oh, they should go on. They need to be killed. They need to be whipped. And he couldn't hold it in any longer. He yelled out from the crowd, why don't you ask the big one? He should be able to tell you. And that's when they knew right there, he had something to do with this. Because he's mocking us.
Yes, sir.
We're not to worship anything but God.
Come on.
But we have to come into our understanding of how God works.
That's right.
So like when Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Yes, sir.
And the kingdom of heaven is at hand. You are the vessel of God.
Teach.
There's a part of the scripture in the Old Testament where God, I think it's in Isaiah, where he's upset because he said they have poured wine into my silver and gold vessels. This ain't no China he's talking about. He's talking about his people.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Who've been drunk in the way of a devil. And that's what we've been, brothers and sisters.
That's right.
We've been drunk in the way of a devil. We've been following somebody else's mindset. And you may say, no, but my man showed me this and my mother showed me that. Look, where did they get it from? And where did the person they got it from got it from?
Come on.
Because we got to check it all the way down to the root to make sure that it didn't come from some cracker, man.
That's right.
Why do I say that? Because these people, we can't trust them. They ain't treat us right ever since they first snatched us from Africa, and so they ain't teaching us right. So I cannot trust what comes out of the mouth of some white man unless he's able to give me actual facts and show me through the mathematics of sun, moon, stars, planets, and the anatomy of my body that what you saying is the truth.
That's right. You go. That's right.
And because of the effect of what he's done, I might still be skeptical.
Always.
I'm just saying. So I ain't gonna just trust any black person, because most of them is deaf, dumb, and blind, slaves to mental death and power, worshiping that they know not work. They black on the outside and white on the inside. Every damn thing that come out of their mouth is from what some cracker done said when you get to the root of it all, mixed with their own vanity and their speculation. Nah, man, once you hear Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan, ain't nobody able to step up in them shoes but God himself. But too many of us doubt
Yes, sir.
those that have been in front of us.
Yes, sir. That's right.
That's what I came to hear, brother.
So how strong is our foundation? Can we survive?
We survive. Come on.
Look, Trump is a chump.
Straight up.
I mean, really. I mean, look. I'm just saying it from the aspect of a chump in the sense of ain't nothing that cracker can do to us, brothers and sisters. You still giving the white man that much power in your mind?
All that space.
You think that when Trump gets up in the morning and brushes his teeth, he's saying, gee, I wonder if Brother Henry's brushing his teeth this morning. He don't give a doggone about you or I. When he clicks on his lights.
Come on, man.
I wonder if the black community got lights today. Which white man does care?
I think when I get paid, that's a good one. Yeah.
People play on our emotions, man.
Come on with that. That's right.
And when we look into the root of politics, we got to put everything in this category.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
And this is a lot of politics going on. And the President of the United States, he's dealing from a federal level. So what you worried about it for?
Exactly.
You in local areas that deal with city and state. Why the hell you think he's going to affect you? Well, he's going to stop my EBT card. You need your EBT card to be stopped. He's gonna take away Obamacare. Brothers and sisters, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us from God what was already in the Bible and the Quran.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Proper way to eat.
Come on, listen.
Physically and mentally.
Teach.
He gave us how to eat to live. It ain't just for Nation of Islam.
Right.
It's for all of us.
That's right.
The white man got a hold to it, and then you pop up with Jenny Craig.
Right. Come on. Show them how to remix it.
Yeah. Giving you a whole bunch of little meals to make up one meal.
Listen good.
Yeah, everybody benefiting off of what the man of God gave us without saying his name, and then you don't want to hear that the man of God said, you're going to try Jenny Craig diet. You're going to try this one's diet. You're going to try that one's diet. Easily led in the wrong direction. Hard as hell to lead in the right direction. Ignorant, arrogant, and proud of it. Deaf, dumb, and blind. All of us. Don't you know you can slow down the cells of your body and stop aging?
Listen.
By how you eat,
Come on.
how often you eat, when you eat, and what you eat. And then at the same time, making sure you're not feeding your brain negativity, that you're feeding your brain positive information from God's planet and drinking and learning from the nature of the planet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That along with regular exercise and living right and the meditation through prayer in righteous thoughts.
Come on now. Come on.
Brothers and sisters, all of us will look like we 16 years old.
Yes, sir.
You ain't got to be dealing with these people with their wickedness. The devil is the one that is talked about in the Quran, where it says corruption has appeared on the land and on the sea because of what men's hands have wrought.
Right.
You don't find black people disrespecting nature.
That's right.
I'm talking about our ancestors. You don't find them getting into the sea and doing oil spills. And this has been the devil.
Come on.
And now we're dealing with the physical planet, and we're dealing with the water of the planet, but this is also dealing with this planet. Your body, which is made up of the vegetation that makes up this earth, and the blood that flows through your body that represents the water of the earth, knowing that the water in our body is 75% water, and we have 1/4 of land, and where our body is concerned, this devil has found a way to affect the natural things in the environment.
Yes, sir.
By sucking out the vitamins that's in our vegetables and putting them into pill form, and then poisoning the atmosphere with insecticides and whatnot. So we gotta have somebody to give us the guidance on how to overcome a devil that has had 6,000 years head start to practice his devilishment. God gave it to him. 6 days will you do all your work. On the 7th day you'll rest. Meaning that the God already knew when he gave him that time period.
Yes, sir.
I know everything that you're gonna do. And I know how I'm going to stop it. And I know how many are going to suffer underneath it all, but at the end of it all, it's going to be like a twinkling of an eye.
Yes, sir.
That it'll look like you was only around one day. So our lessons ask the question, why did God make devil? To show forth his power, that he is all wise and righteous, that he can make a devil and allow, which is weak and wicked, and allow him to rule for 6,000 years and then destroy the devil's civilization in one day without falling a victim to the devil's civilization. Now, how strong is your foundation? Can we survive this devil? You know, in the scriptures, when you read in the Bible, when Jesus is asking his disciples, who do they say I am? And his disciples are saying, some of them are saying that you're Elias, some of them are saying you're Elijah, some of them are saying you're John the Baptist. And he said, well, who do you say I am?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right.
He knew he didn't teach his disciples who he was.
That's right.
But he's looking for one that would be his rock.
That's right. That's
Because he's getting close to his time to depart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So he's testing them to see who did God teach
Come on, man.
in the spirit of the disciple of how to recognize who I am. And Peter said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And then Jesus called his name Simon Peter. He said, flesh and blood didn't teach you this.
All right now.
Only my Father in heaven could have taught you this. He said, on this rock I will build my house,
Yes, sir.
and the gates of hell shall not prevail.
Teach us, man.
On this man I will lay the keys.
All right now.
Whatever he bounds on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever he loose on earth will be loose in heaven. How do we understand that?
Talk to us. Yes, sir.
Because the reverend can go into it, touch on it, and then strike up the choir. So while the question mark is in your mind of figuring out what does that mean, they start singing. And you get caught up in the beat. And that choir starts jumping. Now, come on now. You know, we be in the church, brother. I see some of the FOI tapping there. If some of them be singing right along with them, I ain't going to call no names. That drum get to playing. I mean, we're rhythmatic people, so it ain't nothing wrong with it.
Don't tell on me. Don't tell on me.
You just told on yourself. But, you know, that kind of stuff throw you off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And there's a science that, I mean, we ain't got time to go all into it. It doesn't throw the black woman off because she's looking for God. But the black man is God. And he knows something's missing from his soul. So when it comes down to all that singing, man, I ain't here for no doggone singing and dancing, man. I need some actual straight up truth, no chaser. I'm going through hell in my life. I didn't come into this church to hear nobody sing, do no ballet. I want the truth. I'm suffering, man. And that's why he won't stay in the church. He get up and walk the hell up on out of there. Or he start looking at them sisters. Can't wait till everything is over and go hug Mary so-and-so. Yes, God bless you, sister. How was your day? Oh, may God continue to bless you. Yes, they cooking downstairs. Really? Let me go ahead on downstairs. Am I saying something wrong? Then you got that brother whose wrist is just broke. So he wants to be on the choir. He wants to be part of the pastor's guild. He just loves Jesus. Because God is love. Jesus saves. Pastor, I want to help you. Well, how do you want to help me, son? It gets pathetic.
Come on, wake us up.
And you know who ends up being responsible for that? The preacher. It's written in the book of Ezekiel. God warns him. Warns anybody that stands up in the name of God to preach to the people. That if you don't guide them in the right way so that they can come up out of their iniquity, and they still fall in their iniquity, which is sin, then they will die in their iniquity, but I will require their blood at your hand. But if you warn them And they still go in their iniquitous way. Yes, they will die in their iniquity, but you have saved your soul.
Yes.
All in the book of Ezekiel, you hear God talking to the Son of Man. But the Son of Man is dealing with one man in particular and also a group of people.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
So, this confession of Peter, it has its place. Peter's just a character, a prototype of someone coming down the line. Because we know now, 2,000 years later, that Peter, he wasn't the one
That's right. Listen.
that the gates of hell could not prevail. The gates of hell prevailed him.
Right.
Is that right? The wiles of Satan got over on him. He wasn't the one bounding things on earth and it being bound in heaven. Why? Because, brothers and sisters, we would not have gone through the transatlantic slave trade if all of this, meaning if the devil was overcome by God through Jesus 2,000 years ago, or by Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, 1,400 years ago, we would be in heaven right now. There is no hell after God comes.
Think about that. That's right.
He does away with all of that. So when we start talking about dealing with not having any sickness, it goes right back to what I was saying about how to eat to live. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, 1 meal a day, nothing in between.
Yes, sir. That's right.
First time you hear that, you're like, what? Man, I'll die. How y'all gonna, man, nah, I ain't doing that. 1 meal? Come on.
Come on.
You know, back in the days when we was teenagers, we used to run the streets so much, we ain't eat all day.
Right.
Bag of Delgone Bonton chips and a 25-cent juice and still make it throughout the rest of the whole day.
That's right. That's right.
Can I get a witness?
That's right.
Oh, all right. Because our desire was after something else in that street. Well, what if your desire is about being one with God?
Wow.
What if your desire is to be, I want to be a God? See, when that's your desire, then somebody got to be there to keep tantalizing and hitting that fancy of yours to make you understand, look, man, don't lose the desire to be God. It's your nature. It's your destiny. It's why you was born. You was born so that the Creator can live through you. Every time he look around, he wants to be able to see himself. That's what makes him a jealous God, when you worship other than that which created you. But somebody got to give us the knowledge. So what is the foundation of our people who are believing in a mystery God? What is the foundation of our people who's believing in a prophet that's been dead for 2,000 years? What is the foundation of our people who's been believing in a prophet that hasn't been around for 1,400 years? What is the foundation of our people who thinks that politics is going to save us? What is the foundation of our people who think that hustling and making money, that big payday, is going to save us? How strong is that? Can we survive under the onslaught that's about to come down on us?
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Oh, it's here.
We need to know. So when we start coming into this kind of thought process, it's a matter, okay, well, what is my foundation?
That's a good question.
What do you really believe?
Teach.
And based off of your belief, how much of it do you know?
Uh-oh. There it is right there.
And once you tell yourself how much you know of what you believe, how much of it are you practicing?
Come on now. That's right.
Because the more we practice what we know based off of what we believe, the more our faith increases for us to be able to overcome anything that comes into our life. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be challenges. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us from the Quran, after difficulty comes ease.
Right. That's right.
Surely with difficulty comes ease.
That's right.
So God has set this thing up, whereas we go through stages of development of ups and downs on our way up.
Yes, sir. Right. Good point.
So every time you have a difficult moment in your life,
Yes, sir.
you and I have to muster up the strength to face the difficulty.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right.
Then face it, look at it, examine it, challenge it, and overcome it.
Teach. Teach.
And when every time we overcome it, we're able to look back and say, wow, yeah, see, I was able to beat that. And then you get more inspired about what you know.
Yeah, that's right. Good teacher.
And the foundation in which you were standing on based off of what you know, and your faith increases. So what is faith? It's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things yet unseen, according to Paul in the scriptures.
Right, right.
But it's also, as Minister Farrakhan teaches us, it's confidence and trust in a person or a thing. And in the divine scheme of things, it's confidence and trust in Allah God.
Come on.
That's right, that's right.
What is our faith? Where is our faith?
Right.
Come on.
In Allah God.
Brother, you teaching, God.
Now, there's many of us in here that may have confidence and trust in somebody in our family, somebody in our circle, and that's all right. But where's their confidence and trust coming from?
Good one. That's a good one.
Because you may have people that you know that, man, this brother or this sister, every time I see them, we talk and I always feel inspired and I like the way they move and I really respect their knowledge. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But why you can't drink from the same well they drinking from?
All right, now.
Come on.
That's another one. Come on now.
Because we're not to worship anybody but Allah.
That's right.
So to get you from ending up worshiping that person, find out where their source of knowledge is coming from.
There you go. There you go.
And start studying for yourself. Instead of asking a bunch of questions to the same person over and over again, year after year after year, then what's this, your God?
Oh.
Well, I ain't saying that, but I know that they're connected. Okay. Keep it in its proper place. But if that person falls out or gets knocked down or dies,
Right.
does all your faith and confidence go to the side? Now, people may say, no. Where is the disciple of Marcus Garvey at?
Come on, say that right now. There it is.
Where is the disciple of Malcolm X?
Come on.
Where is the disciple of Khalid for all my Khalid lovers? Where is the disciple of Huey P. Newton?
Come on.
Where is the disciple of Paul Robeson? Where is the disciple of Kwame Nkrumah? Where's the disciple of all these heroes and sheroes that y'all say y'all love? Where's their disciple at? And a disciple is one that has disciplined themselves after a master teacher. Where they at? Because I can show you the disciple of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I can show you disciples growing up under that disciple. Show me yours. How strong is our foundation? Can we survive what's about to come down on us? The foundation is your faith, your belief system. The critical part is the belief in your God.
It's a classic, God. It's a classic.
For the Nation of Islam, our foundation is our belief in Allah, who appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. Our belief in the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Our belief in his representative, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In that order. But how strong is our faith and belief in that?
Here we go. Come on now.
Because many people are challenging it.
Yes, sir.
And they're going to continue to challenge it. You know why? Because ain't nobody else still alive to challenge.
That's me understand. Come on now. Here you go.
There isn't.
Teach.
Even when you think of all the revolutionaries
Come on.
That's right. That's right.
that have been a thorn in the side of the great power called America.
Come on now.
Who's still alive?
Listen. That's right.
Farrakhan.
Farrakhan.
There's only one other
Farrakhan.
nation that's still standing strong, and I wouldn't say one other, but one main one, and that's Iran. But Iran's not speaking out to the world like
Farrakhan.
Farrakhan. When we just deal in the spectrum of America, what leader you see standing?
Come on
Not
now.
one, not one.
Now, you know, a lot of our people will say there is no leadership because they may not see the works of Minister Farrakhan. They may not see Minister Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam because they're looking for them on television.
Right.
Think about that. There you go.
They're looking to hear the news talk about us. But the last poets of our generation said the revolution would not be televised. So because you don't hear them talk about it, you feel he don't mean nothing. You know what that says, brothers and sisters? That you give a lot of power to the white man. That if he doesn't say anything about certain people, they don't mean nothing. Now, I'm not saying that to put you down, but you need to check your thinking.
That's right.
Well, I don't see Farrakhan. I don't see the Muslims. Really?
That's what they say, right?
Really?
Where you at?
You definitely blind.
Come on.
Well, they ain't in my neighborhood. That don't mean you don't see us.
There you go.
That doesn't mean you don't see us. Where you looking?
Well, here you go.
You expecting to see us in the Daily News?
Daily Blue.
The New York Times, the New York Post? When you go out in the community, where you at? When you start searching for knowledge, brothers and sisters, you'll find us if you're really searching for knowledge.
Yes, sir.
But Minister Farrakhan has went all throughout America.
That's right.
He's been all around the dry bones in the valley.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Go and you can just go online and search
Yes,
the
sir.
history
That's right.
from the late 70s all the way up to right now.
Right.
He's coming up on 40 years.
Come on now.
And if that man is a man of God, and he is, then there's a time period for him to have to depart from among us.
Listen. There you go.
And what happens when he goes? Does the nation fall? Because it fell when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left. Because the foundation of the believers weren't strong.
That's right.
It wasn't that the nation wasn't strong or what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught and teaches wasn't strong. It's the foundation of the belief of those who are following what is being taught.
Yes, sir. That's right.
God appeared in the person of a man.
Right. Yes, sir.
Take it or leave it.
Now, whether you believe it or not is not my problem. But for the believer that says, I bear witness there's no God but Allah who came to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. For the believer who says, I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his messenger and exalted Messiah in Christ among us. For the believer who says, I bear witness that Minister Farrakhan is a divine extension of Allah and his Christ in our midst. And writes a letter to make their own declaration of faith. Dear Savior Allah, I desire to reclaim my own.
Yes, sir.
Give me a name. My slave name is such and such and so and so.
Right.
For that believer
Look at that.
that goes through that process
Look at that.
and then recites the rules of Islam. Rule number 1, who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. That believer that recites those 10 rules in their student enrollment.
Yes, sir.
And then receives their X and gets rid of their slave name. Now, you, brother and sister, is the main one we're concerned with on how strong is your foundation.
That's right.
Because the strength of your foundation can strengthen the masses of our people
Right.
that are out there in those streets. We have a work to do among them. Is that right?
That's right, dude.
You know, in the Bible, and this is part of dealing with the context of this, in the book of Revelations, it is written in the 12th chapter of Revelations. I'm going to read it. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Yes, sir.
And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron.
Yes, sir.
And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that she should feed her, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Now I'm going to pause right there. 1,260 days is 3.5 years.
Listen.
So here's Revelation saying a woman. First it's saying, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven. And it's a woman clothed in the sun. Well, why would she be a great wonder in heaven? You mean God don't like women? The people in heaven is surprised that a woman made it up here? I mean, wouldn't you think about it? But you know, we ain't trained to think, man. I mean, really. The scripture is saying one thing. We know this book has been mixed, diluted, and tampered with.
We know that.
But the devil cannot do but so much tampering with God's wisdom, because the devil don't have enough wisdom to tamper with God's wisdom. He can touch it, but he can't break this thing down. He don't know enough of this. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
A wonder in heaven. You know, brothers and sisters, this ain't somewhere up on some cloud.
Listen.
Because no one or nothing can sit on a cloud. Clouds are made up of water. Nobody's sitting on water.
Come on.
It's not happening.
Right.
If you got that in your mind still in 2016, you get that out of your mind. That's spooky as hell.
That's good.
Those clouds come from the earth.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
They don't formulate in the sky and then come down. They come from the earth as a vapor and they form into a cloud.
Right.
So let's not be spooky. When we start thinking about heaven, you thinking up in the sky. No.
Break it down. Break it
I
down.
like that. I like that. I like that.
Break it down, brother.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said heaven and hell is yeah, but I'm trying to go there with it. It has a spiritual effect and it has a physical effect.
Yes, sir.
So when you and I look at heaven, we got to think about a place, a condition of life on the physical side, but on the spiritual side is about your mental capabilities in getting into the mind of God, where you and I have peace and contentment of mind.
That's right.
See, it's good to use self as an example. Peace and contentment of mind. I know coming up in this society, it can be very rough.
Right. Yes. Right.
It's rough on women. It's rough on men.
Yes, sir.
And depending on how we coming up in our families and the foundation is laid for in our families will determine how much of that society and influence of outside has on the individual child coming up.
Yes, sir.
And if the society has more influence on us, then we get caught up in a number of things. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
It's not our parents' fault. At first we would think it's our parents' fault, but we were set up that way by these crackers.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Oh no, we was set up. It ain't no ifs, and buts, or maybes about it, brothers and sisters. Those of us that had parents that was able to lay a certain foundation, that we was able to make it through. All you did was make it through. You still a Negro. No, you still, and I don't care you got your degree, you a Negro with a degree. And I ain't trying to be disrespectful, because the thing is, what are you able to do to build a nation for your people? You think America is your nation. You think that everybody's already good. All we got to do is pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. I made it so you can make this ain't ours. Explain to me why the Constitution still got us as 3/5 of a human being if you really fit into this nation called America. America is a white man.
Yes, sir. That's straight word. Straight word.
Tell him again, brother.
Teach, mama.
The meaning of an American is by European descent. You ain't no European.
That's right.
Calling yourself Afro-American, African-American. You a black man and a black woman that's in bondage in America.
That's right.
You think that white man gonna tell you that? Hell no, he ain't gonna tell you that.
Right.
He's a liar.
That's the beginning. What's that?
So I mean, excuse the passion where that is concerned, but you know, I'm just thinking about this whole intellectual mindset that comes with our people when you start thinking that the black man and the black woman is on some damn bell curve. Now all of a sudden you done got around all these crackers now and you got their knowledge and now you looking down on a brother and sister in the mud when you came from out of that doggone mud. Handkerchief head, boot licking Negro. The hell out of here with that.
Straight word.
Because you part of the problem.
Buying into that problem.
You run for office, you get up in office, you act like you for our people, and you want to just shake hands with white people and placate us, and then get in and then play on the apathy of a dead black man and a dead black woman that won't vote so that you can slide in there and make you some money. Negroes like you ain't gonna live too much longer. When the black man and woman really find out who you are and how much they've suffered under you as a buffer in between for these crackers that sit up in these doggone city offices in Manhattan and other places, they're gonna kill you first. So you may not be in the audience right now, but I'm just saying, brothers and sisters, that's real. That's the time we living in right now. Truth is crushing to the earth faster than it did before 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. People are getting revealed.
Yes, sir. That's right.
And the enemy's trying to find a way to play on it each and every time it goes. He's moving like the wind. So here's this woman in heaven. She's a wonder. Part of the wonder is how she got there. A wonder appeared in heaven. When you and I have a certain knowledge that's connected to God, and we're growing in that knowledge and we're living by that knowledge, then you're putting yourself in heaven. This is why Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the hereafter for my followers is now.
That's right, right now.
Ain't no hereafter after the devil is removed. No, once you remove devilishment from yourself, you put yourself in the hereafter.
There you go, there you go.
No, let that sink in for a minute. It's a compound word. Here. After what?
Come on now.
Like waiting for some pie in the sky after we die?
All right now.
Looking for gardens of perpetuity?
No.
And when rivers flow? 40 virgins or 70 virgins, raised couches? Get the hell out of here.
Come on now. What's it? What's it?
I'm not making mockery of it, brothers and sisters, but we look at that stuff in a spooky doggone way. Because all of it is dealing with a physical reality when you think about what is being said.
Come on, come on.
But it's a spiritual counterpart that allows you to get that that physical reality. And so when we are coming up as FOI and MGT, if we're striving to follow the teachings, we're already in the hereafter.
Yes, sir. That's right.
So every time I look at an MGT, I'm looking at a virgin. I ain't got to go and wait and get on some damn raised couch. Man, I ain't spooky like that.
Come on.
These are people that never met God.
Come on.
What black man you know that can get the black woman to cover from head to toe by the thousands? What? I mean, come on, man. Who else you know doing this? Now look, I mean, just think about it for a moment. You got people that accept Islam, and they'll take on the garb and everything. Is that right? They're not following no particular leadership. It's based off of what they've read out of the Quran, what the imam have told them, and the culture of the environment that they're in. But go get a sister from off of her, out of the hood. Bring her up in here and give her the word of God and tell her about her condition and where her salvation is, and show her how she can pull herself up out of that condition. And then you'll see that one that inspired her to raise up, she's willing to listen to everything that one has to say. Outside of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan's the only man that has done that in black America. Minister Farrakhan's the only one that has done that and been able to do that. It ain't him, it's God in him, working through him. But this one day in heaven, brothers and sisters, I mean, look, we definitely going to do part 2 on this.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Master Farad Muhammad. Half original.
yes. No.
Coming from a white mother and a black father.
Listen.
But his father coming from out of a circle of elders, according to the Bible, and scientists in our teaching, or the 12 imams that's talked about among Islam.
Yes, sir.
and Islamic scholars. Coming from a circle of those who are connected to the supreme being that passes on wisdom from father to son, and that wisdom stays in that circle among them. To keep the criterion of God's wisdom and his dictatorship of how everything's supposed to move for 25,000 years. When the Quran talks about the mother of books, this is not the mother of books. This is scripture that came from the mother of books. Those who are of that order of the 12 imams, those who are of that order of the 24 scientists, they get that wisdom from the mother of books, and it's their job to make sure things go the way that Allah wanted it to go from the beginning.
Yes, sir.
And any time the people are going off course from what was already predicted of what they was due, going too far off the course, it's incumbent upon Almighty God Allah to send them a messenger or a prophet.
Right.
To guide them back to the right path.
Right.
So one from that circle comes among those people either physically or by coming into their mind through mental telepathy in their dream. To give them a word and give them vision. And this is how prophets and messengers are made.
Deep, brother, that was deep.
Yes,
So in the scripture it says they come from behind a veil. Well, this, what you look at is a veil, brothers and sisters.
It is.
You looking at me, but you don't see me.
That's right.
I'm looking at you, but I don't really see you.
There you go.
In order for me to see you, I got to get into you. And for me to get into you, I got to know the nature of God so I'll know what I'm looking at when I really look at you. So this is all a veil.
Oh, brother.
The father of Master Farad Muhammad comes from that circle.
Yes, sir.
There's a certain criteria of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and practice that he has, that those around him had, but there's always a supreme being of the circle.
That's right. Come on.
At a certain point in time, according to the revelation of the scripture, there's one that has to be born that's going to fill the shoes of Mahdi. That's going to fill the shoes of Christ.
Right.
These two titles is of the same one person. Mahdi according to the Muslims, Christ or Messiah according to the Christians. But that one that's born, he's born from a woman.
That's right.
She's styled in the scripture as Mary.
Listen.
So there was a wonder in heaven.
Wonder, brother, wonder.
A woman clothed with the sun. That sunlight has power to touch 76 quintillion miles of the earth's circumference.
Yes, sir.
It can strike this earth 93 million miles away, strike it at the equator and cause it to move at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour. But that sun is created from the will of God.
Right. Yes, sir.
Here's a woman clothed in the sun.
Yes, sir.
Clothed in the wisdom of the Creator. But also pregnant, clothed in the sun. Standing on the moon. Who's going to be standing on the moon and be in heaven? Meaning she's standing on the wisdom of the prophets. She ain't under the wisdom, she's standing on it.
Break it down. Break it down.
This is talking about a physical woman, and it's talking about the messenger of God.
Yes, right.
Who is likened unto a woman that's pregnant by God with the wisdom to give birth to a new nation.
That's it. That's it. You gotta let that marinate right there.
When did all this happen?
Oh, you teaching God, you teaching God, you teaching.
This couldn't possibly happen at the time of Jesus. It couldn't possibly happen at the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, because the devil still had time to rule. It has to happen after the devil's rulership is expired.
Come on now, listen.
When his time is up.
Come on.
And it's up.
How strong is our foundation?
Yeah, it is.
Can we survive?
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad's mother came out of the Caucasus Mountains. She ain't just walk down out of the mountains and get up on God.
No.
His father went and got a woman out of the Caucasus Mountains. Not meaning she was in the mountain. The government of the Caucasian. What Caucasian? Not these same crackers that put us through slavery. We talking about those Caucasians that was practicing Islam.
Right. Teach, brother minister.
Now in our lessons, we're asked the question, why does Muhammad make the devil study from 35 to 50 years? God. Before he can call himself a Muslim son. Here's one. Oh man, you know. We ain't got that much time. But you know, brothers and sisters, in the Bible, when Adam rebelled, he got kicked out of the garden. Is that right? And they say there was flaming cherubims at the east gate of the garden. So he couldn't come back in. Where was that garden at?
Good question.
You know that's along where Iraq and Iran is at right now.
That's right.
And ever since he got kicked out, he's been trying to get back in. The white man's been trying to get back over there into Iraq, Iran, Syria, Libya, because he's always been out of there. At one time, it was us over there.
All over there.
When we kicked him out, we rounded up all of them that we could find
Come on now.
and marched them across the desert. We took everything from them except the language. And this is where in the Masonic order you have the cable tow that's part of the ritual, or they're marching on an electric blanket because it's representing the hot desert that they had to walk across barefoot and naked with just a cape, with just an apron around them. But we took everything from them except the language. We left them with the mathematics. That was God's mercy. The wisdom that was taught to them by their father Yaqub, we did not take that from them.
All right, now listen.
They still was able to have a chance to get back into rulership. But when this cracker snatched us from Africa, he took from us everything, including the language. We ain't talking about Arabic.
Come on now.
We talking about the ancient wisdom that our ancestors knew. He made sure he cut us off from our fathers and our mothers to the point where we don't know no culture. Our culture is caught up in what he taught us of culture. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day, and all this other crap. That ain't us. That's them. And some of you cry crocodile tears when people talk against it. Because you're so caught up in their mindset. And look, brothers and sisters, I'm sorry. I don't even mean to sound so raw, man. But I'm just saying. Here's this wisdom that has been known, that was hidden from us. So Adam was moved out. Some of them went right up into the caves and hillsides of Europe. Most of them. They lost the knowledge of self in the caves and hillsides of Europe. We didn't take it from them. But look at the mercy of God. After 2,000 years, he sends Moses to them to give them back some of the wisdom. Moses ain't come to us. Moses went to the caves and hillsides of Europe and lifted the serpent from the wilderness. Then went back to Egypt and dealt with the Pharaoh there. He did not go and deal with us.
That's right.
Lift the serpent, brother. Lift the serpent.
All right.
It was us, the imams from among us, that sent Moses over there to lift them back up. Why? Because they had a criterion of time that Allah had given them. So how would the imams know? Because they know the mother of the book.
Yes, sir. That's right.
And they know what has to be done by Allah's order. I ain't talking about just any imam. I'm talking about this exalted assembly.
That's right. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And all of it was a sign for what would happen at the end of the devil's rule. Every one of those prophets play a prototype of what would happen in our life right here, right now. So in that last day, you'll see Abraham, you'll see Moses, you'll see Noah, but you ain't going to see them physically. You're going to see their works in one person.
All right.
And a nation.
Right.
Welcome to the nation of Islam, because that's what you're looking at, but you're looking at it from some jaunted lenses.
Man.
But Allah is the author of all of this. He will bring about a universal government of peace wherein we all can live in peace together. So that which we may not be able to see happening the way that we think it should happen, don't count Allah out. He's the author. Ain't nothing can come up into Muhammad Mosque 7C to disrupt what Master Fard Muhammad done put in place. We didn't make this. There's a God that you don't see that brought this into place. We ain't know nothing about no Muhammad Mosque. They didn't even know how to say Muhammad Mosque. That wasn't even in our vocabulary until Master Fard Muhammad raised up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan, because these was temples before. We ain't know nothing about that.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
So now here we got devils being marched out, going into the caves and hillsides of Europe. But don't forget,
I enjoyed this.
we rounded up all that we could find.
Good teaching. Good teaching. Yes, sir.
Right.
There was some that we couldn't find.
Right now.
But why is that? Because some of them Muslim brothers and sisters hid these people in their homes.
That's right. Listen.
The Bible kisses that statement with this.
Come on.
The sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair and took them as wives. Here you got the distinction of sons of God and daughters of men.
Brother.
Now how do you see God? Do you see God taking on a wife? Well, if you believe in a spook God, hell no, you don't see God taking on a wife. Because you don't see God.
Come on.
Here it is.
Your belief in God is nothing but everything. Don't make no sense. There's truth to it, but the way we look at it don't make no sense.
That's right.
But the sons of God saw the daughters of men. We didn't say the sons of Allah, it said the sons of God.
That's right.
Saw the daughters of men that they were fair-skinned. So that means the sons of God had to be the other side of fair skin.
Right.
Black man
Right.
saw that white woman, took her in as a wife. He ain't see her from a distance. He saw her in the Islamic world.
Yes, sir. That's right.
And took her in.
Come on.
At a certain point, the generations of those families produced by that mixture, they started migrating up into what you know as Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Turkey, eventually coming back and taking over the Islamic world.
Yes, sir. Come on. Yeah.
Master Fard Muhammad's mother comes out of that circle.
Right, sir.
From the family of Muhammad,
Yes, sir.
Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. But when his father chose her, he had to cast out 7 devils from her.
Come on.
Yeah.
So in the book where you read Jesus casting out 7 devils, that ain't Jesus of 2,000 years ago, brothers and sisters.
Listen.
Because the Jesus you read about in the book is more than one person. It's 4 different men.
Right.
We ain't got time to go into all that. But the Jesus that comes from the east unto the west, that ain't the same Jesus that was raised from the dead.
All right now. Goodness.
The Jesus that raised Lazarus from the dead, that ain't the same one that came from the east unto the west.
Come on.
All right now. Listen.
When you read about Jesus, which Jesus are you reading about?
Come on. Make plain, bro. Teach us.
Yes, sir.
Is Jesus his name or his title?
All right. That's right.
Jesus is the title of one that is a preacher of freedom, justice, and equality. And Christ is crusher of the wicked. No one can crush the wicked unless they are God themselves, because the devil cannot be, Satan cannot be defeated except by God. You know, prophet going to defeat Satan? He's the arch deceiver. Do you see our red hair said the dragon with his tail wiped away a 1/3 part of the stars of God? The stars of God are the holy wise scientists. Look at Mecca, man. Look at Medina. Are they really ruling with Islam, or has the Satan involved himself up in there? Because whatever anybody want to call themselves a scholar of Islam, then what's going on with our Islamic world where you got Muslims killing Muslims and yelling out Allahu Akbar? Who's going to take responsibility in their scholarship for that? Because that ain't happening among us in America.
That's right.
We was taught by somebody else. You walk away from Elijah Muhammad, you don't like this teaching, you start talking, we ain't killing you. That's not the guidance we got. How did it happen over there? Why is it happening over there?
Come on.
Satan done infiltrated that.
Come on.
And Allah allowed it to happen because the original man is God. We, black people, are going to get that seat.
Yes, sir. All right now.
Oh yeah, oh, look, I hate to bust your bubble. You can love it all you want. You can deal with them Caucasian Muslims, whatever. Brother, it's going to be black people running Mecca. It's going to be black people running Medina. It's yeah, look, take it or let it alone. Black people going to run America. So, I'm going to try to wrap this up.
Take your time, bro.
This woman,
This is about getting in, brother.
in casting out the 7 devils, she was already submissive to Allah. But now she had to be introduced to some wisdom that will allow her to give birth to a child that will rule the nations with a rod of iron. So the wisdom she had to be introduced to is that wisdom that deals with the science of everything in life.
Yes, sir.
That which our ancient ancestors knew. And then a training had to go along with that. And a dietary law had to come along with that. And she stayed in that circle. And this is why she became a wonder in heaven.
Man. Yes, sir.
Because it was a white woman in the midst of the original man and woman in their heaven.
You taught that.
This doesn't get us to the point where we start calling Master Fard Muhammad's mother a devil, because evil after faith is bad. You can't be giving nobody an evil name after they done came into the faith of God.
That's right.
But she was selected for a particular reason.
Right.
And the God wanted to color his seed because he knew that the lost sheep, all this is for you and I.
Amen.
That a woman of Mary would have to give birth to a Jesus who would be the Christ. God in person. That would come out of the east unto the west to seek and save that which was lost and raise a Jesus from among us. How strong is our foundation in that?
Amen.
Can we survive what's going to come down? Because I'm telling you, this enemy is going to be coming. He's going to attack everything I'm saying to see if you really believe. And it's easy to say we believe this while Minister Farrakhan's among us, but when he's gone,
What you gonna do? Listen up. Right. Listen up.
some of us fail in the test while he's around. Our defense of this wisdom is so weak because you're not studying.
All right now. Listen.
I mean, it's just some of the things that I read in here is weak as hell. We got to come up out of that.
Yes, sir.
Come up, all the way up.
Because otherwise we're not going to grow into our destiny, and our destiny is God.
That's right. That's right.
Brothers and sisters, God has come to make you into himself.
Come on. Come on.
It's your nature to be God.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying it's your nature to be worshipped. It's your nature to be God. But here we are at a point where this dragon, it ain't no such thing as a real dragon. It's talking about a man
Yes, sir. That's right.
that has grown in power and rulership off his wickedness, that's about to try to devour the nation and devour black people.
Yes, sir.
Because whether you want to believe it or not, the vanguard of your protection is the FOI and MGT in the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
You can take it or let it alone, brothers and sisters. It's the only group that's willing to put their life on the line and die for your salvation.
Yes, sir.
And the enemy knows
Only
that they got to get rid of Farrakhan.
Come on.
They know that they got to get rid of him, because if they don't remove him, they feel that they will not be able to remove the nation. So when it talks about in the book of Revelation that the woman was able to be taken away because the dragon was waiting to devour the child as soon as it was born.
Come on, brother. Teach.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was taught by Master Fard Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Right.
For 3.5 years. By teaching him, he was putting himself into him. And his love for us made him want to go and teach us and be willing to put his life on the line for us. And for 40 years, that man taught among us and built a nation.
Right. Yes,
but when he said, what I gave you is a wake-up message, we still building. The nation ain't up yet. We're still building, brothers and sisters. Nation of Islam is not Muhammad Mosque. Throughout 160 or more cities in America, Nation of Islam is all black people in America.
That's right.
And becoming a government to ourselves for the benefit of ourselves and our people. So this is where we get the training at, but the work is in the street.
That's right. Yes, sir. Right.
Bringing this to our people, not just on a corner, but going right to their door and talking to them about this wisdom. But you got to love God and love the God that came and love what he brought and those that sacrificed before us to be able to want to go and do that.
There it is.
And most of all, love yourself and love your people. But the faith has to be there. So when we talk about this from this level as we're getting ready to close.
Come on.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad for 40 years worked among us. He knew he was going to have to leave, because he was a test in our midst as well. And when we start dealing from our lessons with English lesson C1, well, how come there's no English lesson A and no English lesson B? The A was Master Fard Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We failed that test.
There you go.
The B was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Come on. Yes, sir.
Failed that test. Now we got a C. That is the letter C and what you see with your eyes. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said about Farrakhan, wherever you see him, look at him. Wherever he tells you to go, go. Wherever he tells you to stay from, stay from. He will carry you across the water of the river on his shoulders. And when he gets you to the other side, not if, when he gets you to the other side, he won't turn around and say, look what I have done. He will say, look what Allah has done.
That's right.
Very humble man. But he's one in our midst that we need to look at, because this is an open book test now. They tell me when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was among us, they didn't get access, the believers didn't get access to him like you get access to Farrakhan. And I heard the minister say out of his mouth, we didn't have access as ministers to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as y'all got access to me as my student ministers. Sitting at dinner with him and him breaking stuff. We didn't know. So this is open book test right now. But when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was working, the enemy was against him for those whole 40 years as he's bringing forth a nation. He's pregnant like a woman with a child.
Yes, sir.
And they was waiting to devour the baby as soon as it was born. And no sooner than he left and his son stood up in his place, they went to work against the nation.
Yes, sir.
Through probate courts and everything else. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you think is going to happen when Minister Farrakhan leaves from among us? This enemy, if he can't get Minister Farrakhan, he's coming after the followers.
There you go.
The dragon couldn't get to the woman, so it went after the remnant of its seed. It says that the woman was taken away for 3.5 years, and then the dragon spewed out a flood. But the earth swallowed up the flood. The earth represents our people in the community.
Come on, come on.
We got to keep among them with the inspiration and teachings of this teaching and the love of the minister that we know he has shown us, show it to our people so that when the attacks come, by land, sea, and air, through their newspapers, through their radio, through their television, through handkerchief-head Negroes and envious and jealous niggas. Then the black man and woman on the street say, I don't know nothing about that. I know these brothers look out for me. I know every time I turn around, they hear, I don't know where the hell you been at. They will swallow up that flood. But if we don't do the work of a civilized person and then the attack comes, they will look at us and say, you knew this truth and you ain't tell us? You seem to be all right, Muhammad. How you doing all right and we suffering out here?
Here you go. Something wrong. Here you go.
And they be ready to do a push-in move on your house, your apartment, rob you, kill your children, rape your wife. And you be wondering, after all the sacrifice I made, but you didn't do the work. And it will be by Allah's permission that we get that kind of whipping. So how strong is our foundation? Can we survive the wiles of Satan? Brothers and sisters, this is really, you know, on the main part for us as believers, but it's also for you. As I said in the beginning, whatever your foundation of knowledge is, it's about to be tested. And as it gets tested, it's going to get tested through hard times. But the hard times don't have to be hard times for us if our foundation of knowledge is right and we're disciplining ourselves according to the knowledge. Now, if your foundation of knowledge is weak or it needs strengthening, which I'm pretty sure everybody does because knowledge is infinite, then we need to be together.
That's right.
We need to be together under the banner and leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
All praises are due to Allah. You know, there's a portion in the book of John where Jesus is telling his disciples that he has to go away. And he said, if I go not away, the Comforter cannot come. He will be a bearing of witness of me and my work. Well, a comforter is one that comforts you in the midst of your trial and tribulation. Who don't need comfort? I ain't talking about that kind of comfort that's babying us. I'm talking about that kind of comforter that's a consoler, that gives you peace and quiet of mind. That is that which a wife is supposed to do. The comforter does as a man by feeding us the wisdom of God. Feeding us the wisdom of God and giving us an understanding of the deception of the devil so that we don't get caught in the wiles of Satan. And willing to stand up and go to war with the devil. And in this book of Revelation, after the dragon couldn't get the woman, Michael and his angels stood up and went to war with the dragon. That's what we got in Farrakhan. That's what you got in the Nation of Islam. So we have a comforter among us. But that comforter is making us into comforters for our people that never come by this way, that we go to them with this wisdom. We go to them with this knowledge and show them the way and inspire them that they may stand up and do for self, but be there to help them. Not do it for them, but help them. Brothers and sisters, we have to come to the point where we understand that Minister Farrakhan is not no ordinary person in our midst.
That's right. That's right.
And after the death of Fidel Castro, and knowing what has happened with him, and we look at how they killed our brother Gaddafi, we look at how they killed Saddam Hussein, you know, the commonality of all these different leaders in their countries, they were all under sanctions and embargoes by the United States government. And under the sanctions and embargoes, and as well as the slander that was coming against them through news media here in America, it forced them to have to do for self.
Exactly.
That was good.
In the negativity that America was bringing to them, it was positive for them because it kept Satan out of their country. So the influence of America was not in Libya. The influence of America was not in Iraq, is not in Iran, was not in Cuba, because America was punishing them. And even under the punishment, they was living like they was in the 1960s or 70s, but they had their dignity, they had their pride, they did not lose their culture. You and I have been drunk with this beast. And so you worried about Trump coming into office because you think the black community is going to suffer. The black community needs to suffer the suffering of being without white people. So that we can start doing for self and start loving ourselves and develop our own culture among ourselves. The Nation of Islam has been under sanctions by the U.S. government for over 30 years now. We can clean up these projects. We We can secure our communities.
That's right.
But because Jews have influence over those who run the money, they don't want us. If they was not to hinder us and not involve themselves with us for 3 years straight, we can clean up every black man that's in prison that wants civilization in their life. We can give it to them. But this devil don't want that to happen. He don't want you rehabilitated. He don't want no reentry for you. He wants the recidivism rate to keep going up and up and up. But God has already given us something that we can use to get our people out of their condition.
Yes.
And so this comforter that's among us in Farrakhan is a man that I really think you need to really latch on to.
Yes, sir.
And look into and join on to your own. Accept your own and be yourself. I thank you, brothers and sisters, for giving me your time and your patience and listening to these few words. As I greet you all in peace. Assalamu alaikum. All praises are due to Allah. All praises are due to Allah. We had to put a pin in it, of course, but inshallah, next week, we'll go into part 2 of how strong is our foundation. Can we survive? Because we have to deal with the difficulty factors. We have to deal with our human potential. We have to deal with overcoming difficulty and the mixed feelings and controversy that comes up in this day and time on so many levels with us, because God has to be the foundation, brothers and sisters. And for us as believers, it becomes a revival for us to remind us, you was born to be a God.
That's right.
That's all.
And for all those that will sit around and say, well, you know, I got supreme wisdom, I am God. God can't lie.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So tell me, God, are you at that level yet? We ain't got time to be pussyfooting around with people who think they know more than what we already know. There's a criterion of practice that gets us to the point where we remove lie from ourselves. Doesn't mean we don't all have that potential or that have that in the nature of ourselves. But there's a practice, because we have to exercise some devils up out of ourselves. How many of you are glad that you came out today by a show of hands? All praises due to Allah. We're glad to have you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Praise be to Allah. Are there any of you here for your first time, never been to the mosque before? Can I see by a show of hands if you're here for your first time? Would you just stand for 1 minute so everybody can see you? We're thankful for you being here. All praises are due to Allah. I know some of you got here a little late, but we're glad that you came. You just walked into the atmosphere or something. Is that right? So we're glad that you're here with us. Now, I want to ask, how many of you believe what you heard to be the truth and good for us as a people? Can I see by a show of hands? Let's give the truth a round of applause, because the truth is independent of itself. All praises due to Allah. Well, with that being said, and you saying that you're glad you're here, you believe what you heard to be the truth and good for us as a people, I want to know, and this is specific people now, how many of you are ready to join hands with Minister Farrakhan? Come up under his leadership, learn more about this truth, and be able to use it for the benefit of yourself, your family, and your people. If you're ready to take that kind of stand, I want to shake your hand. Are there any of you ready to take that kind of stand? Raise your hand if you're sure. All right, you can study long, you study wrong, all right? All praises due to Allah. This is not no overnight sensation.
Come on.
So we're not expecting it to be like, I'm going to just pop up and I'm going to do this. No, it's asked in the right way.
That's right.
You believe it to be the truth and good for us as a people? You said yes. You're glad that you came? Yes. Then you know what that means? You're responsible for what you heard today.
Right.
Come on.
You have to act on it in your own way, and you have to spread it to other people. The fact that you're not ready to join hands with Minister Farrakhan, I know what you mean. You ain't ready to come up under this right now.
Right.
But your heart and your mind is already with Minister Farrakhan. Otherwise, you wouldn't have stayed here as long as you did, listening to me and all my passion and whatnot. So, brothers and sisters, we don't frown on you. That's why I'm saying we don't frown on you about that. We know that for some it takes time, and for others you may already be involved with something else. But I want you to know, this mosque here, 202 Pennsylvania Avenue, or anywhere in any other state under Minister Farrakhan's teaching and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, This is your house. You're welcome to come here anytime the doors are open, and you'll be treated just as we treat one another, because a Muslim is not a Muslim until he wants for his brother and sister that which he wants for himself. So I would say, yes, sir.
Do you take any question?
Oh, you want to ask a question? So why are you putting me out there? Why are you putting me out there like that? Okay, now you done threw me out there. You know, I was on a roll. He just, I know he already accepted, so it couldn't have been acceptance. But since brother brought it up, I tell you, they be wanting me to work. Are there any questions? Does anyone have any questions about what was taught that may be on your mind? You don't have to make anything up, you know, and I'm definitely not trying to discourage you. Anything that you ask that I don't know, I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't know. I'll try to find out. We ain't going to make nothing up here. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
Are there any questions? Yes, sir, big brother. Stand up, please. Say your name, brother.
I'm Brother Leonard.
Brother Leonard. I know you. I just want everybody else to know.
I like
Yes,
to
sir.
thank you for coming through, man, when I was in the dungeons, man, giving me the word and everything.
Praise be
My
to Allah.
question was, I'm wrestling with the beginnings of the righteous standard. I don't agree with the one ancestral thing that I've been taught. Can you just touch on this a little bit of how?
What is the one ancestral thing you've been
Well, the
taught?
one that I've been taught from the Christian perspective about Adam, 2 sons, and
Oh.
the sisters, is like
Oh.
more people.
Oh,
like,
yes. How many in the audience can bear witness to what brother just asked about? The one ancestral thing. Okay. All right. You know, there's some that can't. Okay. Are there any of you that believe that Adam was the first man, by show of hands? Don't be afraid to raise your hand. It's all right if you, okay. Okay, so now, Brother Leonard, there's people called pre-Adamites.
Come on.
And if you go look up the pre-Adamites, those are the people that were here before Adam.
Right.
You know how when you go into the museum, they give you the prehistoric history? You ever wonder what that is? Because pre means before. So this is the history before history. Really, the white man knew the history before history. So you looking at prehistoric animals. They were here before we was here. How you know? How do they know? Just a thought. I'm not going there. But the pre-Adamites are dealing with the people that was here before Adam. Now, when you read in the Bible, as brother is talking about, in terms of dealing with the book of Genesis, or even in the Quran, the Adam that is made, that God makes from the dust, that was 6,000 years ago.
Listen good.
We already know that the white man bears witness through some of his anthropologists and others, you know, Dr. Leakey and them, that they've searched for the origin of man, and they've been digging bones in Africa that date back 2 million years of a black woman. No, a black man. I'm sorry. They didn't find his mother. You know, they found the black man that dated 2 million years ago. Now you got to find his mother to find out who gave birth to him. What does that tell us? That tells us that the Adam of the book 6,000 years ago was not the first man.
Right.
If you finding bones in Africa that date back 2 million years,
That's right.
and it's of a black man. But the other thing is this, and this is what brother just brought up. Adam and Eve had 2 sons, right?
Yes, sir.
One of their sons left from among them and went into the land of Nod and found a wife. The question is, where did she come from?
Listen good.
If Adam and Eve were the first 2 people on the earth, how did their son go and find a wife somewhere else on the earth unless there were other people here? And this is why the scripture talks about man and mankind. But this is another reason why the reverend gets in trouble, because you're not explaining that.
Come on.
Don't explain it.
Why is there a distinction in the Bible made of man and mankind?
Good question. Come on now.
Mankind is a compound word, kind of a man.
Come on.
Let us make them in our image and after our likeness. They're made in the image and likeness of the original man, but they're kind of a man.
Come on.
And this don't mean you hate them because you're going to admit that.
That's real.
But some of our ignorance is mixed with fear.
Right.
So, brother, yes, you should have a problem with that kind of teaching because it's not factual. It's truth mixed with falsehood. In the Bible, in the beginning, the first 26 verses, you're reading about a God who's creating. Sun, moon, stars, water. Then in the 26th verse, he seems to need help in making a man.
Help who?
Now, how could you create a sun being it is, kun fire kun?
Yes, sir.
Bring the waters on the earth, your face move across the waters, your firmament and all that, and then I need help in making a man. And then you turn to some other people and say, let us make man in our image and after our. Well, then who's those people that's with you?
Good question. Come on now.
Is the one asking, let us make man in our image and after the likeness, after our likeness, the same one that created the sun? No. These are two different people.
That's right.
One of them is the creator, and the other one is actually Lucifer, who you read about that's under the name of John in the book of Revelations on the island of Patmos, waiting for the word of the Lord. And the word of the Lord is, let us make man.
That's right.
And we ain't got time to go into all that, but you come back around, we can go deeper into that.
Right now.
Is there any other questions? Did I answer your question for you, brother?
Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah. So, okay. So I guess that's it for me. Brothers and sisters, what I would ask of you is, you know, we're not supported by no outside entity in terms of dealing with how we finance the Nation of Islam and its mosques and study groups all around America. It's based off of what we do as believers and followers of the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan, and what our people who come out and be with us. Those of you that say you're glad to be here, you love what you heard to be the truth and good for us as a people, it's your nickels and dimes and dollars that help us to sustain ourselves, to keep this mosque floating on. So we need your help. So what I'm going to ask is for our assistant minister, Brother Anthony 22X, to come up and lead us in the charity drive. But brothers and sisters, with the few of us that's in here, we should be able to raise at least $500.
Come on now.
If everyone gives a little, no one has to give a lot. But those that have been blessed more than others, they can give more. But please, if you can give anything, help our brother and support him as he raises the charity with us. Let us bring Brother Anthony on with a round of applause as I greet you all in peace. Assalamu alaikum, family.